only 100 meters away from the fence. As you see, we can see the Israeli army snipers, we can see the Israeli army soldiers in the jeeps and trying to target all the protesters that are being very close to the fence by live ammunition, rubber bullets, and the tear gas canisters. They are using new, updated, and developed weapons. As you see, this is the tear gas by the drone, by the Israeli army. They are using the drone to throw the tear gas canisters on the protesters. And this is like the 10th time they're using it since the beginning of the day today. Here's a live injury just right now from the tear gas canisters that were thrown on the protesters just right now. And as you see, everyone is trying to take this injury to the ambulance to go to the hospital directly.
For more on this, we go live now to Gaza, where Hind joins us. You just saw her reporting there. Hind, thank you so much for your brave reporting and for coming into the studio so late. Many are calling today's massacre unprecedented. Based on your experience covering demonstrations like this, would you agree with that characterization?
Well, actually, no, because today Palestinians were protesting unarmed, and in the past weeks the Palestinian factions were calling that they don't want any violations or any violation escalating in the Gaza Strip, especially during this protest today. Palestinians were only demanding the right of return. The Palestinian refugees were demanding the right of return to their homeland and origins. Palestinians today were unarmed. They had no weapons. They had no tear gas canisters. They had no live ammunitions. They had no bullets. So that's why I'm telling you, today was a very tough day for all the Palestinians. All the protesters were in danger. Everyone, every citizen in Gaza Strip on the border today near the fence was in very danger. They were targeting everyone near the fence, and I say this again, Palestinians were unarmed. No one was armed. They were only going there holding one message, that they're here because today is the anniversary of the 42nd anniversary of Land Day to the Palestinians.
And I gave a brief explanation of Land Day at the beginning of this broadcast, but can you elaborate on why this day is so significant for Palestinians, particularly why the issue of refugee right of return is special to the people of Gaza?
Well, today Palestinians go back to 1976, where 6 Arab Israel citizens were killed by the Israeli army when they were demonstrating on land grab. And today, Palestinians, every year on the 30th of March, they commemorate this anniversary and they protest all wide world in the Palestinians. Remember this, and today's protest is going to continue for 6 weeks. The tents on the borders are going to stay there for more than 6 weeks until the 15th of May, where it's called the Nakba Day for the Palestinians, or the catastrophe, where Palestinians were demolished and left their houses back in 1948. Palestinians believe they have the right to return to their land, and they have to return to their origins and hometowns, where now it's called Israel.
Mainstream U.S. media has covered the news today in a predictable manner. For example, the New York Times referred to the events as, quote, confrontations. You were there. Were these simply confrontations or clashes, as Western media often says?
Well, I said this before. Palestinians were unarmed. Like today, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, more than 1,000 Palestinians were injured and 15 Palestinians were killed in one day. This is like totally miserable. Like more than 30 Palestinians, including these injuries, were children, and there were a lot of women there. They were using a drone for the first time to throw tear gas canisters on the protesters and demonstrators that were near the fence. And this was something, or a well-developed weapon that we witnessed the first time on the border, on the protests that are held near the defense, because we have been covering all the protests since Donald Trump's declaration, and how the protesters were protesting against Donald Trump, and this weapon was never used. For the first time, they used a drone to throw tear gas canisters. They used live ammunition. They used live ammunition and live rubber bullets on the protesters.
We have about 45 seconds left, Hind, but I want to show viewers video which surfaced this week showing Israeli army forces targeting a 3-year-old boy in the West Bank city of Hebron for arrest. The images may shock us here in the West, but what does it tell us about the way Israeli military people treat children across Palestine?
Well, actually today I saw like more than 10 Palestinian kids who were injured in their legs, in their heads, in their arms. Actually, the Israeli army doesn't care about the fact that this is a child. Why would they target a child that is only 5 or 6 years old? This Palestinian child is actually, I'm sure this child was unarmed, and they won't have weapons against the Israeli soldiers.
We are unfortunately out of time, but again, we really appreciate your reporting. Hind Hodari, thanks so much.